In this video, we're going to deep dive your backside rotations in order to figure out how you can get more power and more control off every single jump and hopefully unlock these back fives and back sevens. Currently, your air control and air awareness is top notch, but there's a few mistakes happening on the takeoff that are going to really limit your potential and limit your power. So let's go and address that, starting with your backside 360. Your backside 360 in the air, I really like how you're keeping your upper body, keeping yourself centered over your board. We can see that our positions are almost identical for the actual rotation of the backside 360. And that's true all the way coming into the landing, where we're both landing with our chests rotated towards the jump, using that little bit of counter rotation, nice and stacked over the board. The big difference here is you're landing coming in very tail heavy. And this tail heavy landing is actually an indicator that your technique and form is going in not correct, and it's going to really limit you for back fives and back sevens. And this is happening because as you go and throw your backside 360, you're dropping yourself down towards the tail of your snowboard. Let's go and play this back really slow. So you're coming in, decently tall position, not as tall as we'd want to be, but tall enough. But as you go and throw your spin, instead of carrying your momentum throughout your chest on a parallel line, instead you're dropping your shoulders down towards the tail of your snowboard. This is making it so you're leaned over, very head heavy, down towards here. If we compare that to my takeoff, you can see my head's completely centered with my body, and my shoulders are throwing on the same line the whole way, making this a little T shape. If we compare that and draw a line with your head and your shoulders, it's going to be more like a V from there. So that's what we need to get you from that V to this T. Because when you go and try to add power towards your tail of your snowboard while going and leaning forward from this position, it's going to make it so you're throwing downwards instead of across your body. And that's going to throw off your axis rotation. Not much on a backside 360, and that's why it's just resulting in tail heavy landing. But as you start moving on to 540s and 720s, you'll need to add more power to your rotation. So the more power you add to this downward throw, the more it's going to throw you off tilt. So let's break down why this is happening. First, your takeoff is not helping. You're coming in for the in run, going from heels to toes much too soon. You want to be getting on your toe edge around the spoon of the jump, what's around here. The longer you have to hold the toe edge, the more it's going to start crunching you, breaking up the hips, and limiting your range of motion. And that's one of the main reasons when you come off a lip, your upper body's so down. And that's because you weren't starting from a tall enough, strong enough position. We can even see this on your backside 360. If we go fast forward to the start, as you go and transition from your heel edge to toe edge, first, the transition is happening really quick. You don't have much time in this flat-based section. And when you go and rock to your toe edge from heel edge quick, it's going to put more pressure onto your toe edge. Think of sideways momentum, heel edge, toe edge. The faster you do it, the more it's going to go and put pressure into your toe edge. And the more pressure you have on your toe edge, the more it's going to want to break you over. Then you're doing something else here that's really hindering you, and that is you're adding bend to your torso and bend to your legs while you're going and winding up for your jump. If we compare our forms here, we can see that you're crouched over, bit of bend in the legs, bit of bend in the torso, and almost completely squared in the hips, knees, and board. If we compare that to mine, we can see that my chest is open, my hips are open, and my board is slightly angled towards the corner of a jump. This is increasing the range of motion I have in my upper body, allowing me to go and do a smoother snap while maintaining this nice tall position. We don't need to be ridiculously tall on a backside 360. We can see that I'm still a little bit hinged forward, but I'm not so hinged forward that my sideways throw is going to start being angled downwards. And that's really the key. We need to make sure that our momentum and our throw is being set across our body and not down towards the snow. Because as you're coming in and snapping the spin, because you don't have much range of motion, you don't have much room to generate power. And this is making it so to generate your spin, you're trying to drop your chest towards your tail. And this is why on your backside 540s, you're not getting control and you're not getting power, because as you go and exaggerate this drop motion, it's going to go and make it so your chest comes even more down towards your board, and your chest coming down more towards your board will make it so that your throw is now set completely towards the ground. And that's why you're needing to try pull and lift your chest so much in order to rebalance yourself, because if you committed to where your shoulder was trying to take you, you'd go and do a complete misty front flip 180. So This is going to be the challenge that we need to fix in order to go and let you start generating more power out of your snowboard. And that's basically what's happening here. Your in-run isn't letting you go and utilize your fundamentals, utilize your power, and it's going to make it so you're going to have to feel like you're holding back on every single one of your spins. Because from this position, we can see with your arms, if your arms flew parallel with the body here, it'd be sent straight down towards the ground. If we compare that to mine, we can see that I'm a little bit hunched over, still got a bit of bend in my legs, but I can go and hold this throw angle and it will go and naturally sync me up with the landing. Let's play this frame by frame. So see how my upper body is nice and tall. I'm looking towards the end of the takeoff, and then my throw isn't angled down, it isn't angled up. Instead, it's just set on the same angle as my upper body. And this is the key for these spins. It's making sure that your upper body is on the angle that you can snap your arms in a straight line through it. We're trying to remove as many up and down bends in our waist as we can. And to do that, we need to have a taller posture. So because I have that taller posture, I can throw it, keep it, and then I'm maintaining that axis that I went and set off the lip. Our main focus here is going to be on the back seven, because the back seven goes and really highlights these mistakes to the maximum. Back sevens are the first backside spin that you really need to go and have absolutely perfect, proper form in order to do it correct. So what's happening on your backside seven right now? You're coming in, snapping the spin, throwing downwards. This is making it so you're corking too much. And because you're corking too much, you need to look up and around your shoulder, doing something called a double spot. Double spots and this axis rotation are really hard to control because first, you're losing sight of the landing right here. And this is the point where you want to be pulling into your spin, trying to pull into the landing, and looking over the shoulder is also going to throw you off kilter. And this is resulting in this heel edge landing. So too broken at the waist off a takeoff, causing you to get too corked, causing you to lose the spot, causing you to go and land heel heavy. And you'll never be able to land a smooth backside 720 if you go and throw with this much tilt with your upper body off the takeoff. So how do we go and fix this? The first easy change you can make is delaying your setup carve. I don't want you to start getting onto your toes into this position right here at the spoon of the jump. We can see that I'm not trying to rush onto my toe edge. Being on the toe edge is not a comfortable position. It's going to be hard to hold, so we want to be on it as short of a period of time as possible. So I'm coming through the spoon of a transition and then I get on my toes. Next, we need to get your upper body taller. It's going to be easier to get your upper body taller with incorporating a few things. First, we want to make sure that you're angling your hips and your upper body and your board slightly towards the corner of the jump. Right now, your whole body's angled straight at the jump, and that's going to be really hard to go and hold that edge and generate rotation in the core, generate rotation in the hips, winding up for that spin. Because you're so closed off right now, it's going to limit your range of motion and limit your power. So I want you to just practice well riding down the slope, going and doing your setup carve, heels, two toes, and then winding up and trying to get this tall posture. Remember that the posture doesn't need to be perfectly straight over your board because you're going to have a little bit of edge pressure that will cause your upper body to have a bit of tilt, but you're trying to make sure that you're not going and hinging forward of the upper body. See how you're sort of rounding here and your head is becoming low? You want to keep your upper body straight, your spine straight, and powerful. From this position, it's honestly going to be impossible to do a really good 720 because from here, the only way you can go and throw is downwards towards your tail. And see how your hand's coming down towards your snowboard? What we really need is to be throwing across our upper body, leading that rotation, staying tall. See how I'm extending through that body, I'm maintaining that center head position, and I'm hitting that T posture that I was showing you on the backside 360. Let's actually go back to that because it's the same mistake on all these spins, and you're going to need to go and fix this mistake on the back freeze. So if we go and look at this backside 360, at this point of a takeoff, my head's centered, my shoulders are squared. If we go and try to do the same thing with your shoulders here, it's looking like this. So we need to go and do a couple of things here. On your back freeze, you're going and first snapping your upper body and rotating it too much. See how you're rotated completely 90? This is more rotation than you need, and it's one of the things causing you to go and lean forward. You only want to be taking off and leading a little bit with your upper body on a backside 360, My shoulder is thrown like 20 degrees here. And then you want to be patient with your head, eyes on the takeoff, and once you go and fully snap off the lip, that's when you pull the head and that's when you pull the upper body. But I'm never going and fully leading this rotation. You also are making this problem with backside 540s. See how you're throwing and you're already spotting 270 around? The only way it's possible to go and spot this early is through going and hinging forward, because that will give you more range of motion to go and rotate your upper body independently to your lower body. So this could be one of the things causing your mistakes, and if not, it is a mistake in itself, but that is trying to go and look into the spot too soon. If we compare our fives here, we can really see this in action. As you go and come off the lip and rotate 90, your head is already going and looking all the way around, where I'm keeping myself in a more neutral position, not worrying about the spot. You don't need to worry about the spot normally on a backside 5, back freeze, because you know it's going to come around. But because you're going and throwing downwards, it's making it so your axis rotation isn't controllable and isn't consistent, and that's leading to you wanting to go and see the spot to see if you're going to be in a position that you can get your feet under you right away. So it's another thing that's being caused by going and breaking down too soon. That said, you're also just going and snapping and rotating your upper body too much off the takeoff here. This is going to be a lot more similar to the kind of upper body rotation you want to set on a backside 7. So let's go and break that down, but I'll give you a little bit of dry at-home training that you can do that will really help with this. So coming in, heels, look at how my whole body's angled towards the right corner of a jump. You really want to practice this. You don't need to necessarily be this bent down in order to hold this position, but you do want to have your board angled, your hips angled, and your shoulders angled. Here we can see your knees coming in a little bit. Let's take that knee, let's pull it out to a more powerful position. Let's take those hips and let's go and keep them a little bit stronger, a little bit taller. And let's try to add more rotation of that upper body, more rotation of the hips. And that's going to set you up so much for success. And then the next thing we need to do is, as you transition to your toes, you shouldn't be crouching down into this toe edge. Instead, you should be extending, talling, or holding the same position. So I want you to go and remove the need to go and add bend to your legs right here. You can see that I have a little bit of bend in my legs, so the bend in the legs isn't the issue by itself. The issue is the fact that you're going from a taller position to a more bent position. Because you want to be doing your transition through the spoon of the jump right here, you don't want to be going and compressing yourself while the jump's going uphill, because this is the highest G-force part of the jump. So if you're going and squatting down through this part of a jump, it's going to put a lot of impact and crunch you. And as your legs bend, it's going to go and cause you to start bending over, leaning forward. And this leaning forward is really the thing that's going and hurting you so bad right now. Because as you go and throw the spin, sure, your upper body's throwing 270, but your shoulder is thrown completely downward. Let's go and do the T line right here. So if we go and draw a line through my head, center of mass, shoulders squared, and you can see my T is on a slight angle down towards the jump. This is because I'm trying to match the angle of the takeoff with my upper body, because this is going to set my axis of rotation. If we do the T with yours, we can see that it's coming in and is almost set completely downward. So most of your power here isn't being used for rotation, and instead is being set down to the ground. And this is why your rotation is being cut short. So you're going and snapping your spin, and then you're holding it in this downward arc, because if you actually try to follow through and thoroughly snap your spin like I'm doing here on this angle, you would be going and throwing yourself straight front flip. And that's why we really need to get you taller, because you're just not going to be able to put power into this position. So that's your issue. You're coming in, your setup carve isn't putting you in a position where you can get tall, open your hips, open your chest, and this is making you go and crunch over, lean forward, and as you try to add more power to your spin, your upper body's too hinged forward, causing too much of your momentum to be angled downwards, and this is causing you to get too flippy, and this too flippy of axis is making it so you can't hold the constant spot on the knuckle and then go and hold that rotation and pull all the way through. To fix this, first you need to practice at home. I want you to practice going and loading your weight onto your heel edge, opening your hips, opening your chest preemptively towards the corner of a jump, and visualizing that you're looking at the corner of a jump. By angling our whole body towards the corner, it lets our hips open up more, our chest open up more, and that's going to give us more range of motion to play with. The next thing you need to work on is transitioning from your heels to your toes while not bending your legs. Right now you're coming in heels to toes and sort of bending down like this. And as you bend down like this, your upper body naturally comes forward. And I'm already at the point where if I snap from this position, I'm now throwing down. So we need to keep these legs a little bit straighter, push out the hips, keep them tight. Think about flexing your glutes. Flexing your glutes together will make it so it's way harder to go and break at the waist. So flex those glutes, stay tall, and see how that's making it so as I shift to my toes, I'm pushing my hips forward. That's putting the pressure onto my toe edge, and it's opening up my hips here. Next, you need to train holding this tall position and trying to snap through this tall position. As you snap your spin, you want to go and have your whole body angled. If you want to get that cork, you're corking with your whole body. So I want you to go practice heel edge, angling, toe edge, flexing the glutes, winding up, pulling the arm, and then snapping your arms on a straight line. Compare that to if you go heel edge, toe edge, snap. See how that's now set downwards? So we want to go flex those glutes, flex everything, and then practice our follow through. Next, I want to show you just the angles you want to use for back threes and back fives and back sevens. For a backside 360, I'm only aiming to snap this much here. Chest forward, looking down, and keeping everything squared and centered. You don't want to be throwing and dropping towards that back foot like this. And if you're keeping it a little more bent in your body, then I'm just boop. That's all you need for a backside 3. Backside 5, just a little bit more. And then backside 7, you're now going completely 90 towards that tail. And that's because for a back 7, you're not grabbing into here to 70. And you can even practice that backside snap, boom. Because what we're trying to do here is keep our throw on this parallel line through the body. And then if you want to add cork, then you drive it, boom, towards the tail. And once you're feeling comfortable with this, feeling in control, bring it to snow. Practice on a mellow pitch slope, going heel edge, angling everything towards that corner, flex the glutes, push the hips forward, open the chest, wind up, and then snap on this straight parallel line, trying to just make this whole T-shape, keeping your head centered, keeping your upper body strong. This doesn't mean that we need to be like this, try and throw. That's not strong. Keep your athletic stance, but a little bit of hinge in the body is fine. We just need to make sure that it doesn't go and get past a certain point. If you start feeling pressure on your lower back, you're bent too much. So one more time, heel edge, angling everything towards the jump. Toe edge as we flex the glutes, keeping the chest strong, tall. Wind up, keeping the upper body open, hips open, and then snapping towards the tail while keeping everything in a straight line and keeping the head centered in the body. It's important to remember that every trick in snowboarding is a takeoff based challenge. It doesn't matter how good your air control is, how good you are getting to your feet. If you don't set yourself up for success, you're not going to get control and you're not going to be able to get these bigger tricks. So go and implement those changes, fix your takeoffs, and from there, you'll be able to do way more powerful spins and start being way more consistent.